Shirley and Lou, and we were founded in 1977. We're located about 20 minutes west of downtown St. Louis. So if you're ever in the St. Louis area, please feel free to come out and visit us. We're open every day, and the best part is that we are free to come and see all the animals that we have at the sanctuary. We mostly have birds of prey. So we have, we have some hawks, we have some eagles, we have some owls and vultures and falcons. We have some other creatures too, like we do have some snakes and a few mammals. So we have a little bit of everything for people to see. We have around 200 different animals on display that you can see. But we do 4 different things at the sanctuary. The first thing that we do is wildlife rehabilitation. So we have our wildlife hospital, and when people find injured or sick or orphan birds of prey, they bring them to us, and we nurse them back to health the best we can. And once we know they can survive again on their own, we will release them back out into the wild where they were found. So that's one thing we do, wildlife rehabilitation with birds of prey. We also do field studies. That's where we have people that go out to the forest and the field, and they do various research projects with the wild birds. We do various studies with the wild bird population to make sure they're doing okay in the environment. And the third thing that we do is we breed birds of prey, and we breed them for 2 reasons. We have several breeding barns behind the scenes, and we'll raise our own education birds. So many of the birds that you're going to see here today were hatched and raised in captivity. I'll just put it right there. So many of the birds that you're going to see here today, they were hatched and raised in captivity by people. And we also breed birds of prey for endangered species release programs. So for example, peregrine falcons, we've bred and released peregrines out to the wild. We've helped those endangered birds. And right now we're breeding and releasing barn owls out into the wild. So far we have released around 800 barn owls into the wild. So they're doing very, very well. And the last thing that we do at the sanctuary is what we're here for today, and that is education. So we travel all across the country presenting bird shows and education programs just like this one. So hopefully you all will learn something from these wonderful birds, and you will want to spread what you've learned to your family and friends, and hopefully you will want to help out these birds in return as well. Now before we bring out our first bird, I do need to go over a couple rules for everybody to follow so we have a fun, safe show. So the first rule is if everyone could stay seated during the show. We will be flying 3 of the birds during the show, and we don't want them to accidentally fly into anybody if you were to just stand up during the show. So please stay seated. Also, please keep your hands down. Do not try to reach up and touch any of the birds as they're flying over you. Very important. And the last rule, you guys are doing a great job right now, is that's just to stay quiet, just so our birds don't get accidentally startled or anything. We want them to have a good experience, and also so you guys can hear me tell you some cool things about each of these birds. So once the birds come out, it's going to get a lot more exciting, especially when a few of them are flying inches above your heads. All right, so can everyone stay seated, keep your hands down, and stay quiet? Can everyone do that for us? Cool, thank you. Also, I do want to warn everybody, although, our birds, they are pretty well trained, but unfortunately we cannot potty train them. So as they're flying over your head, please, very important, keep your mouth closed, okay, unless you want a yummy snack. That's fine with me. No, I'm just kidding. That's just a bad joke. Birds of prey, luckily, they go to the bathroom before they start to fly. They're not like pigeons and geese that poo whenever they want when they're flying around. But, so don't worry about getting any poo in your hair today. It's not going to happen. Hopefully. Actually, it did happen once that I know of out of all of the shows we've ever done for 30 years. But, so it could happen. All right. You guys ready to see some birds? All right. I'm going to go ahead and get out our first bird. So this first bird I'm going to get out, she is new to going and doing shows. She's under 1 year old, and so we're kind of just bringing her out to shows for her to get used to, just to get used to being around people. Pretty soon, she will be flying for us during the show, but in order for her to feel really comfortable, I am going to be feeding her a piece. This is a piece of a mouse. Let's see. Actually, that's the back. Here's the front. So I'm going to try to walk around with her a little bit just up front, and hopefully you guys will be able to see her eating some of this mouse, and that means she feels really comfortable in front of you guys. So let's see what happens. Alright everybody, this here is an American kestrel, and they are the smallest falcon in the United States, so she's fully grown. She's only about 1 year old, but she's fully grown. Birds, they grow up really fast. Birds of prey are full grown in just 2 to 3 months. They're full grown. Now, her name is Bertha. She's a female American kestrel, and the way you can tell she's a female is she has those chestnut brown wings. And males, they're quite a bit prettier than the females. Male kestrels have very pretty blue wings, and they have a blue head as well. Here's just pecking at that mouse. Now, most birds of prey, you cannot tell the difference between males and females. They pretty much look exactly the same. Their coloration looks the same. The only one way you can really tell the difference is if you have a male and a female sitting next to each other. The female is almost always up to 1/3 larger than the male. And that's mainly because the female birds of prey are the ones that they carry the eggs, they lay the eggs, and they defend the nest. They protect the nest. They protect the babies once they hatch. So they're pretty much, they're the queens of the nest. And then the fathers are the ones hunting for food for the female and bringing the female food. And once the chicks hatch, he will bring the chicks food as well. Isn't that nice? Now you can see on Bertha here, she has 2 black stripes kind of going down on the sides of her face, and a lot of falcons have that, and that works the same way as when football players put black stripes under their eyes. It helps to block out the sunlight. Also, they have black spots on the back of their head, and we think those act as false eyes. So when a predator sees, the back of her head, they see these black spots. They think she has eyes on the back of her head, and they are not going to they're not going to waste their time trying to catch her, because they think, oh, she can just see me coming. I'm not going to waste my time. American kestrels, they use several different methods to search for their food. Now, falcons in general, the main thing they hunt are other birds. Even these little guys, these little falcons, they will hunt other birds and eat them. So one method that she may use is called kiting. And when a kestrel kites, they're very up high in the sky, and they're using the wind currents to help keep them afloat. So they don't need to flap their wings at all. They'll just